All right. Hi, I'm Don, and I'd like to share a skill with you that can allow you to change the form of your memories. You up for it? Yeah. All right, good. So, it's called creative processing. You probably already know what creative processing is, but for the learners in the back, creative processing is using your creativity to process your experiences and your emotions. So, I'm not here to teach you how to be creative today, but I think that I can offer you a framework to help you get into being creative. I don't think that you should take advice from people who say that they can teach you how to be creative. I think that when you dive in and you really embrace your own creativity, there are just so many wonderful things that can come from it. So, as a student of creativity, what I can offer you today is my story, a framework, and an example. Sound good? Yeah. All right, great. So, just figuring out how to use a clicker. So, I started creative processing when I was 12. As you might have noticed, I picked up creative processing to impress the ladies. Double plaid, never goes bad. All jokes aside, creative processing has helped me in so many ways. It's helped me to navigate grade school bullying. It's helped me to navigate first loves. It's helped me to navigate some of the hard moments in my life, like my grandparents passing. On the flip side, though, creativity has also been an amazing way to embellish some of my best experiences. And let me tell you a little bit about that. When you dive into your creativity, right, you really have an ability to change something within yourself, right? Adopting a creative mindset allows you to see the world as little moments of opportunities to be creative, right? It makes everything colorful. It makes the whole world come alive. So, I want to get into the framework and tell you a little bit along the way about how I've used creative processing. So, when you first get ready to start using creative processing, the first thing that you're going to do is just pause and recognize a moment. Notice how you feel. Notice what made you feel that way, right? Notice your breath and letting the tension in your muscles relax. Recognize a moment. This alone, if you take anything away from my talk, is probably one of the most important things that I've learned how to do in my entire life. I mean, just think about how happiness can be fleeting because we never stop to recognize a moment when we're happy. And how pain can feel like it lasts forever because we never pause, notice it, and let it pass. We tend to hold on to it, right? This is the power of pausing and recognizing a moment, recognizing where you're at in a moment. So, the second thing that you want to do, you know how to recognize your emotions, right? The next thing that you want to do is explore some ways to express them creatively. And I hope you like the emojis down on the bottom. I took some time carefully selecting those for you, just to spark some ideas into what you could get into. This could look like writing, songwriting, which is my jam. It could look like sculpting or recycle art, or someone yesterday mentioned to me comedy, right? Anything that can help you directly process that emotion and work through it, right? So When you explore your mediums, you might find that certain mediums allow you to express different parts of yourself in different ways, right? For example, let's say a pet of mine passed away, right? I may write a really happy song about my pet bounding through the yard and smiling at me. Whereas if I were to use story writing as my medium, right? Well, I tend to be a little bit more serious when I write. So I might touch on some of my grief or how much I miss them, right? So in this way, your mediums can kind of pull different parts of you out of you. So I'm a big proponent of exploring your mediums. I think that it's wonderful to kind of always be checking out how you can express yourself in an interesting and new way. It keeps creative processing fresh and novel. So you recognize how you're feeling, and you have some things that you're comfortable with doing to express it, right? Step 3 is where the magic happens. This is where you actually creative process. Transform that experience that you're feeling. This is where you can take that experience of just having graduated and getting your diploma, or that awkward feeling after you had an awkward moment with your boss, or the thought of that person that you love. And you can transform it into something new, something that you gift to your future self. So you're probably wondering, how do I be creative? Set aside time. Dedicate time to your emotions, to your mediums. Doesn't need to be a lot of time, but just recognize how you're feeling. Pick a thing to change that feeling into something else, and roll, baby. So, what could possibly come after step 3, right? You're transforming. You've already kind of processed the motion, right? Step 4 is a recommendation. It's the trusted process. I had to. I'm from Philadelphia. For those of you that don't know, our trusted process is the mantra of our basketball team. I think it's genius, though, because, I mean, think about it. You could win the championship or lose, and it inspires you still to get up the next day and practice and try again, right? It's kind of an amazing thing. And this is where we kind of have to be a little bit bold about how we define creativity and art. We're calling art just the process part that may never feel finished to someone else. I think the best example of this, right, is the fact that I have thousands of songs on my phone, right, in my voice memos. And each of those songs, I mean, they might be just some lyrics, they might be a song that's half-baked, they might be just some chords that I was really resonating with that day, that captured a feeling that I had. But what's amazing is that those songs, those just little memories that I've captured, have already done their job. Just by me sitting down to capture and process a feeling, I've used this process to heal and to send myself a gift in the future. And what I mean by sending myself a gift in the future is really that when I listen to one of these voice memos, it's on my phone, and let's say I wrote it years ago, I may have even forgot what that feeling felt like. But when I listen to that little note or that little insight that I left for myself, it reminds me of that feeling and how crazy life can be, how different all of our experiences can be. And so the final step is really just to trust the process. You may sit down to write a short story and maybe write the first sentence. And if that first sentence is what is useful to you, if it helps you process a moment, if it helps you change your mindset, maybe that's all it needs to be. You don't need to write a whole story if you don't need to write a whole story. So, put them all out for you, just so you can remember when you go home and practice this, right? Recognize, explore your mediums, turn them into something else for you, and trust the process. 1, 1, 1, 1. I swear it said 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, we're going to forget about that. What I'd like you to do today, is set aside time. Doesn't need to be a lot of time, like I mentioned. You just need to spend time sitting down and being present in that moment with the feeling and turning it into something. I'd like to close with a song. Does that sound cool? Yeah. All right. The reason I want you to hear the song is because it's not finished. In fact, it captures the moment that I realized what I needed to share today. It helped me get here. The reason I want you to hear it is also because it doesn't need anything else. It's maybe a verse and a chorus. I don't need to add more verses. I don't need to put it on an album, release it. I just want to share the joy of creativity as a step that doesn't need to have some lofty end product. It just needs to help you notice where you are and get to where you want to go. All set. Pull this forward a little bit. Can everybody hear it? It's been a long time. It's been a long time. I'm still learning, keep in mind. We all got stories deep inside, and I got a feeling it'll all be fine.